Okay, so I'm going to be covering two problems from the 7.4 bookwork, and hopefully it'll help clarify some questions that you may have. The first problem I'm going to cover is number 25, which starts off 4f squared plus 24f plus 36. According to our polynomial chart, it says to factor out the GCF, the greatest common factor, and these three terms do have 4 as the greatest common factor, and what's left over is a trinomial f squared plus 6f plus 9. And now we need to factor out the trinomial that's left inside the parentheses, or at least see if we can. And that polynomial, is it a 2-term, 3-term, or 4-term? And of course it is a 3-term. And according to our chart, it says that we're going to be finding the key product, key sum. So if I use that, I'll do that over here. Remember, key product is found by multiplying the coefficient of the first term and the last term. The coefficient here is 1 and the last term is 9. So our key product is 9. Our key sum is the coefficient of the middle term, which is 6. And the two numbers that will work here for our key product and key sum is going to be 3's. Okay, so now we know the numbers that we're going to have for our key product and key sum. Remember, our GCF just comes down for the ride, and after we figured out our key product, key sum, we have to decide if the coefficient of the leading term is 1 or is not equal to 1. And our coefficient of the polynomial that we're factoring inside the parentheses has a coefficient of 1, and therefore I'm going to use the numbers from the key product, key sum, and open up two parentheses. First term, of course, multiplies to get the first term in our trinomial, and that's going to be f, and the two numbers that follow are going to be a positive 3 and a positive 3. And we can write this more concisely as 4 times the quantity f plus 3 squared. And that's how you want to write your final answer. Now the second problem here, we always start with factoring out the GCF. And with this particular problem, we don't have a greatest common factor. So we move on to the next portion of our chart. Is it a 2-term, 3-term, or 4-term polynomial? And this one here is a 2-term. And then we've got to figure, is it a difference of squares, a difference of cubes, or a sum of cubes? Well, neither one of these so far is a square or a cube. So I'm going to have to manipulate this. I could either go either way, actually, but I'm going to go ahead and write it as a difference of squares. So this h to the 6, I'm rewriting it as h cubed squared, and the 64 I'm going to be writing as 8 squared. Now that I have a difference of squares here, I'm going to be using my difference of squares formula, where it says if you have a squared minus b squared, go ahead and open up two parentheses and write your a plus b and then a minus b. Right? But what is a and what is b? According to our problem here, a is going to be h cubed and b is going to be, we've got to figure out what that is. Actually, no, b is 8. Got it. So I just need to fill in the blanks here. Right? I've got h cubed plus 8, and then h cubed minus 8. Now we've got to look at inside each parentheses and see if we can factor some more. So I've got h cubed plus 8. Again, that's a 2-term polynomial. Do I recognize that this can be manipulated to a sum of cubes? And it can be. I can rewrite this h cubed plus 8 as h cubed plus 2 cubed. And I can rewrite this difference right here as h cubed minus 2 cubed. So this one's going to follow our sum of cubes, And then this parentheses is going to follow our difference of cubes. So now for our sum of cubes here, what is our A and what is our B here? So our A for the sum of cubes is going to be H, and B is going to be 2. I don't want to mix it with this guy. Now I'm going to go ahead and set it up using my formula here, setting up the sum of cubes. And so I'm going to open up 2 large brackets. And remember, I'm just focused, this whole factoring is for this sum of cubes right here. This one we haven't worked on yet. This is just following along. That's h cubed minus 2 cubed. All right. So following my sum of cubes formula, it says we're going to go ahead and do A. I'm building my skeleton, right? So I've got sum of cubes A plus B, and then it's going to be A squared minus AB plus B squared. Okay, and then we fill in what we have for A and B here. So I've got H, 2, H, and then AB. So it's going to be H, 2, and then B squared, which is 2. And then we're ready to simplify. This first bracket, I can just drop those parentheses. That's just going to be H plus 2. This second bracket, that's going to just be H squared, and then minus H times 2, which can be written 2H, and then plus 2 squared, which is 4. Remember, we still have this H cubed minus 2 cubed to do. It's very similar to the H cubed plus 2 cubed, except our formula is just a little bit different. So I'm just going to rewrite this first part here, H plus 2, H squared minus 2H plus 4, and I am getting ready for my difference of cubes formula right here. And for the parentheses, I'm going to go ahead and open up some brackets so I can use the parentheses to build my skeleton. Alright. In the parentheses, this is just a little bit different because this is going to be A difference of cubes, that's going to be A minus B, and then we're going to have A squared plus AB, oops, I need parentheses there, I'm building my skeleton, plus AB, and then plus B squared. So now I've got my parentheses nice and ready for me to fill them in with my H minus, that's going to be my B, and then that's A squared, and then plus AB plus B squared. And then we just simplify. So this first parenthesis, this all is just going to pop down to H plus 2, and then we have H squared minus 2H plus 4. This first bracket, I can just drop the parentheses, that'll just be H minus 2. This second bracket here, I can write that as H squared, and then plus H times 2 is just 2H, and then plus 2 squared, which is 4. Now, we go back and we would look back inside the parentheses and see if we can factor any of these parentheses out. But even if you look at the trinomials here, you cannot factor out H squared minus 2H plus 4. You can try doing the key product, key sum for that 3-term polynomial, but you're going to find out that there's no combination of numbers that works for that one. So this trinomial right here, H squared minus 2H plus 4, and also H squared plus 2H plus 4, those two trinomials are prime, so we can't factor them any further. You can write your answer like this, however, you'll probably see in the back of your book that they put the binomials first, and then the trinomials are second, minus 2H plus plus 2h plus 4. And that's how you factor. Hope that helps.